Today's true crime tale is straight out of the Hollywood horror movie Orphan, where a loving couple adopt a young girl only to discover she's an adult who stands at the end of their bed at night holding a knife. So, if you have a keen interest in true crime, unsolved mysteries, and paranormal events, you're in the right place. We're dedicated to bringing you fresh content in this area 3 times a week. So if you share my fascination, don't hesitate to get these cats to pull the like button and give subscribe button a good smack to help our channel grow. So now let's get into today's story. Alright, picture this. A couple, hearts full of love, decide to adopt a little kid from Ukraine. Sounds like the start of a heartwarming story, right? But hold on. It takes a turn straight out of a horror flick. Imagine this. They're lying in bed, and there's this child standing at the foot of the bed with a knife in hand, muttering threats. Chilling, isn't it? So as time ticks by, things get even weirder. The parents start piecing together a terrifying puzzle. That little child they brought into their home, turns out she's not a child at all. She's an adult masquerading as a kid. Can you believe that? So in sheer terror, they do the only thing they can think of. They set her up in her own place and hightail it out of there. Now we fast forward 5 years. The couple gets slapped with child neglect charges. But wait, here's the kicker. They've got a letter from the court, a piece of paper that flips the script on her. It says their 8-year-old daughter was actually 22 at the time. Now, it's like a circus. You have the media, doctors, everyone scrambling to figure out what. What is what? Is she a child or an adult? The tests are inconclusive. The girl's playing the victim, saying she's been abandoned. The couple, they're adamant she's the embodiment of evil. Alright, so everybody just buckle up. The story's gonna get weird and wild. So Kristine and Michael Barnett, they're not your average Joe and Jane. They're seasoned foster parents and even run a daycare in Westfield, Indiana. Kristine, she's an author too. She penned a book about handling kids with ADHD. She's inspired by her own experiences. Now it's May 2010, and the Barnetts are about to make a life-changing decision. They agree to an emergency adoption of a Ukrainian-born 6-year-old, Natalia Grace. They fetch her from Florida, and just like that, within 6 months, the adoption sealed. Natalia is officially Barnett. The Barnetts, they've got big hearts. They treat Natalia like their own, especially since Kristine can't even have kids. Natalia's different though. She's got this bone growth disorder, a type of dwarfism. It makes her small, gives her skeletal issues, even vision problems. But here's where it gets a little bit odd. The Barnetts, they only had 1 day, just 24 hours, to wrap up this emergency adoption. Natalia's backstory? Now that's like a jigsaw puzzle with a missing piece. She's been in the United States since 2008, and her Ukrainian birth certificate pins her birth in September 2003. So what's the rush? Turns out her previous foster family has suddenly given her up. The why? That's $1 million question. So, the Barnetts, they're starting to get this weird feeling that something's off with Natalia. Kristine's giving Natalia her first bath one day, and what does she find? Full-blown pubic hair, and signs that Natalia's been menstruating. That's not something you'd expect in a 6-year-old, right? Natalia's teeth, they're all adult, and she doesn't even grow a millimeter. So which is strange, even for someone with dwarfism. Then there's this day at the beach. Natalia, she usually struggles to walk, but out of nowhere, she gets up and bolts right into the water. No warning, just runs like it's nothing. 4 months down the line, Natalia's turning 7. She's getting chatty, she's more confident, but her way of talking, it's way beyond her years. And her accent, she doesn't even sound Ukrainian at all. In fact, she can even speak Ukrainian. Now things take a dark turn. It's December 2010. Natalia's off to school, and Kristine says Natalia tried to shove her into an electric fence. Intentionally. That's when the terror starts. Natalia's pulling stunts like pouring bleach in Kristine's coffee, saying outright she's trying to poison her. Natalia's got this chilling way of talking about offing them and their other kids. You know, stuff like wrapping up them in a blanket, burying them out back. The Barnetts, they're losing sleep. They wake up in the dead of night and there's Natalia, knife in hand, at the foot of their bed. They start hiding all the sharp things. But Natalia, she's very crafty. She likes to hide the knife above the fridge, just in case. Now it gets a little even weirder. Natalia, she's leaping out of moving cars. Now she's smearing blood on mirrors. She's hanging out with teenagers, snubbing kids' toys. And even one time, Kristine, watching the baby monitor, she sees Natalia smack a baby boy, and when she thinks no one's looking. So 2011 rolls around, and the Barnetts, they're scared stiff. They decide it's time to get some answers. They take Natalia to a mental health specialist. The verdict? Natalia's not just dealing with a kitty problem. She's got a serious psychological issue. The kind you only see in adults. And the specialist, he's convinced Natalia is, in fact, an adult. So Natalia ends up at St. Vincent's in Indianapolis, a stress center, a place for serious psychiatric disorders. And the word on the street is, while she's there, Natalia lets slip she's way older than she looks. A psychiatrist even notes she's at least 18 years old. In March of 2012, a physician working with the Barnetts and Natalia drops a bombshell. That birth certificate from 2003, it's good as fiction. Turns out Natalia might have been playing this eternal child gig for a while, duping everyone. Now, by June of 2012, with the mental health squad backing them up, and the Barnetts hit the courts, they're aiming to get Natalia's birth certificate fixed up to show her real age. Bone test points to her being at least 16. The court in Marion County, they're floored. They rule Natalia was born in 1989. That makes her 22 when the Barnetts adopt her. Now, the Barnetts know Natalia is no child. They start planning to part ways. But they're not heartless. In 2013, when Natalia's 9 years old, or 23 really is, they set her up with her own place. They make sure she's looked after, then move to Canada a month later. Natalia's not left high and dry. She's got a team for mental health and social support. They help her get a social security number and keep tabs on her. You'd think that's where the story ends, right? No. 5 years later, the cops come knocking for the Barnetts. They're booked on suspicion of neglect and abandoning a child. For 5 long years, Natalia lives alone in that apartment. She's cooking, cleaning, just doing her own thing. Then out of the blue, she tells the police she's abandoned by the Barnetts. Next thing you know, Kristine and Michael are in cuffs, charged with neglect. But hold on, the Barnetts aren't just sitting ducks. They've got an ace up their sleeve. They turn the tables and ask this mind-bending question. How can it be a child abuse if there is no child? Kristine and Michael, who have since split up after moving to Canada, they're not taking this laying down. They claim they're the real victims here. They say Natalia's not just some innocent kid. She's an adult, a con artist with a sinister plan to end them. Now here's a twist that feels like it's straight out of Hollywood. You ever heard of the movie Orphan? It was released back in 2009. The plot is so similar. In the movie, a couple adopts a 9-year-old girl after losing their baby. But soon, they found out she's not who she seems. She's got a dark past and a bunch of creepy traits. The girl in the film, Esther, she's actually a 33-year-old Russian woman, not even a child. She's worming her way into families and get this, she's got a trail of murders in her wake. The movie, though it's based on a true story, sounds a lot like what's unfolding with Natalia. The parallels are uncanny. Just like Esther, Natalia's been playing the part of a child, just like in the movie. There's this shadowy, twisted backstory. It's like life imitating art, or maybe the other way around. Now Kristine's adamant. They didn't just ditch Natalia and run. They've been keeping tabs on her, making sure she's got what she needs to live just like an adult. They're footing the bill for her apartment, trying to keep her off the streets, doing their best to ensure she's safe. But when Natalia cuts off contact, Kristine's mind starts racing. Maybe Natalia's been scooped up by another family. Still, Kristine, haunted by this fear, this image of waking up to find Natalia at her bed with a knife in hand. Now we fast forward to 2019, and it's court time for Kristine and Michael, but they're facing the music separately. Meanwhile, Natalia with her new adoptive family hits the TV screens. She's seen on Dr. Phil's show, claiming she's just a kid. But that plan kind of backfires on her. The audience, the experts, they're seeing something else. They're seeing adult behaviors, not what you'd expect from a 16-year-old. In the end, the case against the Barnetts, it just fizzles out. Why? Statute of limitations has passed. Plus, their lawyers are throwing around some heavy legal artillery. They are arguing that according to the state of Indiana, Natalia is an adult, legally on her own, with the paperwork to back it up. The Barnetts, they're no strangers to the foster game. They've got a track record raising a kid, just like Jake Barnett, a bona fide child genius. He's publishing papers at the age of 12. They've got this knack, this real talent for bringing up kids who aren't their own. It's impressive to say the least. But here's the kicker. What if they fabricated the whole story about Natalia? What if they made it all up just to wash their hands of her? That would be something. Or we could flip that script. Imagine a 22-year-old woman pretending to be a kid, just to worm her way into a family. The medical evidence, it's like a roller coaster. One bone test says Natalia's an adult, another one says that she's just a kid. And then there's this report, thrown into the mix at the trial, claiming she's not 16. As she said on Dr. Phil, but 33. It's enough to make your head spin. This whole orphan case, it's a puzzle wrapped up clear cut. Natalia finds herself new adopted parents. And they're shooting down everything the Barnett said, even doubting she's had periods. But who knows? Maybe Natalia's just that good at hiding the truth. Now, despite all the appeals, the verdict on Natalia's age hasn't budged. The Marion County Superior Court decision from 2012 stands. They say she was born in 1989 and not in 2003. That's the official word. And as for the reasons why her first foster family let her go, that remains one of those unsolved mysteries. Were they even her first foster family? That we're never going to know either. So, that wraps up today's episode. If today's story captured your interest and it offered valuable insights, why not let these playful cats on my shirt demonstrate by hitting that like button with a whimsical paw tap. Remember, subscribe to the channel too and activate all notifications with a comical cat leap so you're always in the loop for new content. Your support is immensely valued. Until we meet again, take care and get ready for some more engaging stories with a side of feline fun. See you soon.